Late last night, I finally grokked something that the person known online as Eggplant said to me last summer. I'll tell you what he said and why it resonated especially yesterday, and I'll give you a clue. The trigger was Twitter. Last night in London's Trafalgar Square, thousands of fans, many of whom had camped out for days, celebrated the release of the last of the Harry Potter films. Hashtag Harry Potter Live trended on Twitter as a generation tweeted through their tears to mark the end of an era, the end of their childhood. And while all that was going on, adults were freaking out about what was happening in the U.S. debt-ceiling negotiations, what Obama may or may not have given away to the Republicans, the cuts that may be coming to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. The grown-ups were spewing white-hot outrage over the phone hacking scandal, the one that caused Rupert Murdoch to pull the plug on Britain's largest-selling newspaper. It survived for 168 years through 2 world wars. It did not survive the Aussie press baron. Meanwhile, in Trafalgar Square and round the world through YouTube, a generation was coming to grips with the end of Harry Potter. The tweets were amazing, and while I've read all the books, seen all the films, I know it doesn't mean the same to me as it does to the generation now entering their early 20s. Which brings me around to what Ed said to me last summer. It was after the music gig at Summer in the City. We were crowded into a pub just downstairs from the venue, and on the jukebox, this room full of 20-somethings were selecting song after song from the 60s. Old-time rock and roll. Not only playing it, but they knew all the words, and they were singing along, which I don't, and I wasn't. And Ed came up to me very close and said to me over the din of the music, "I envy you for having lived through that era of music." And I didn't really get it until today. There is a generation that lived through Harry Potter in a way that my generation can't, and future generations certainly won't. Sure, from now on, everybody will have the books, in hardback, in paperback, in ebooks. They'll have the movies, in DVD, in Blu-ray, streaming on YouTube for 99 cents? You think Amazon is the only giant digital vendor that knows the value of a 99-cent promotion? Sure, everybody has the books and the movies. They will be there. But what's not there is their newness. Imagine what it was like to wait for the next new Beatles album, or a new Louis Armstrong single, or a Cole Porter musical, or a new book by Mark Twain. I saw Star Wars on opening day in 1977, and I had to wait for the next chapter. Nick Harson, a young friend of mine in L.A., reminded me, well, he's got the Beatles too. Yes, Nick, you have the Beatles, and I'm delighted that you do, but you never had Beatlemania. And I never had Pottermania. So, Ed, if you envy my generation for living through the birth of rock and roll, I understand that. And I hope you'll understand that I envy your generation for what you were able to experience with Harry Potter, waiting for every book to come out, every movie, and seeing the entire story as a contemporary through the eyes of someone the same age as the boy who lived. Until next time, I'm Mickeleh. Dave, I can't tell you how sorry I am that I don't have something special for you at the end. I know you wait for it. I got nothing. I'm flat.
Hey, what do you mean? You got me? Come on, let me get on camera.
Would you give it a rest?